Today, we're going to be talking about my top 5 original Organization 13 members. These are going to be going in a order from least favorite of the favorites to the favorite of the favorites, basically. So let's start with number 5. Number 5 is Dimmix. Now, Dimmix is a really cool character, and I am kinda disappointed just a little bit because his lines in 358 over 2 days when you're in the lobby and stuff are kind of funny. The way he does everything, like he keeps like a note with like shit he has to do in KH2, which is another real funny thing. And he's just a lazy dude. He just sits around and plays a sitar, doesn't give a shit about what's going on, and he doesn't want to do any work. Your typical slacker type dude, and as such he's kind of funny, and that's why I decided to put him as my number 5. At number 4, we have Zigbar, as I like to call him, Uncle Ziggy. He's kind of, in 358 over 2 days, like, he kind of cares about Roxas, but not really. And I mean, come on, bro's actually got snipers for weapons, laser snipers. Plus, he looks like an actually intimidating version of Captain Cook. That was actually accidental. I meant to say Captain Hook, not Captain Cook. I'm an idiot. But yeah, he essentially looks like a more intimidating, badass version of Captain Hook. And overall, he's pretty funny. He's got that little like catchphrase, his like as if or whatever. He's a cool character overall, and I'm looking forward to see what is going to be done with him going forward, because we know he's Lucio and all that. And it is kind of speculated that he did inherit his sort of sarcastic sense of humor from the Master of Masters, which is all going to be fun to see in the future games. Going on to number 3. Number 3, we have the leader, the big boss, Mr. Xemnas, aka the human subwoofer, as I like to refer to him. This dude is intimidating as shit, I'll say that much, just because of his voice. And he's a really like a badass leader. Like, in my opinion, he's more of an intimidating villain, overall a more intimidating character. And even when you look at him as like the leader of the previous Organization 13, I think he's a lot more intimidating that way too. He's manipulative. He's planning, like, he's playing some 4D chess type shit. And, yeah, essentially, in my opinion, the better antagonist when compared to Xehanort. Probably my favorite antagonist in the Kingdom Hearts series. And now, moving on to number 2, Roxas. This might have been kind of an obvious one. Roxas is the tragic character. This kid's been through a fuck ton. And, in days in KH2, I mean, he was literally living in a simulation type thing for several days. He's been manipulated, used, tossed around like a fucking tool. Like, nobody essentially gave a shit about this poor kid, aside from his friends and all. And I'm really glad that he got his happy ending in KH3, because, as I said many times, if anyone deserved a happy ending from all those characters, it has to be this fucking kid. And also, I really like what they did with him at the beginning of 358 over 2 days, with him essentially being a zombie and clueless about what's going on around him. And then he becomes more and more aware of the shit that's going on around him. And he also becomes more aware of the fact that Organization 13 itself is a fucking scam, and that he doesn't even know what he's doing there. So he begins to question all this shit around him. He decides to finally stand up for himself and for his friends, and decides to basically live life on his own terms. And after he tries that, he again gets fucked over, and in KH2 again, like I said, ends up in that simulated Twilight Town. But at the end of the day, he gets his happy ending. I think all that shit that he's been through really paid off, because now he can literally just live a normal life, which is essentially all that he wanted ever since the sort of middle of 358 over 2 days. He's my number 2 pick, especially because of the interesting story, and especially because of what they overall did with the character. Funny enough, nobodies are presented as people that have no emotions, no feelings. And funny enough, this kid probably displays more emotion than most of the KH characters. Now, moving on to my number 1 pick, my favorite character in general in Kingdom Hearts, it is Axel. This dude, I mean, do I even have to say anything about him? This dude is such an interesting character. In Rechain of Memories, he comes off as this sort of ruthless type hitman dude. But in 358 over 2 days, we see another side to him when he's around his friends. He's actually very supportive, he's very caring, he does his best to protect his friends, he's a good mentor, essentially a big brother figure to both Roxas and Xion. And then eventually, let's skip to Dream Drop Distance real quick, when he finally joins the good guys. This is truly when we get to see this character shine, in my opinion, and when he saves Sora in Dream Drop Distance, it's probably one of my favorite scenes with him, one of the most badass moments of this dude. One more thing I gotta say, his voice actor, does an amazing job at portraying this dude. He's funny, sarcastic at times, is a mixture of Dimmix and Zigbar in my opinion sometimes, but he has the best fucking traits of those two, so he's basically the best of both worlds. And finally, I gotta mention his catchphrase, which has become so iconic and such a meme in these years. Do I really even have to say it? I'll play it just cuz.
Got it memorized.
And that's basically it for this top 5. If you liked it, leave a like on the video. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video stream, bye bye.